Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be trying punch needling for the first time together. If you haven't heard of punch needling, it's a type of fiber art where you use a special needle to push thread back and forth through fabric. It's very similar to how rugs are created if you've ever seen a rug making video, except that you're doing it by hand instead of using a rug gun. If you're interested in punch needling or just want a cozy video to watch while you craft along with me, I will be showing you my experience trying punch needling for the first time and hopefully making something pretty cute out of it. So my mom got me 3 punch needling kits for Christmas, and I asked you guys on my Instagram which one was your favorite. This was the winner, and I'm honestly not surprised because I kind of wanted you guys to pick this one. It's really cute, like a daisy pattern, and I think it'll look really nice somewhere in my house. You can get punch needling kits at your local craft stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby. They also have some really cute ones on Etsy if you're looking for a more practical punch needling project. My kit came from a Facebook ad that my mom saw that was very sketchy. I do not recommend getting your kits off of Facebook ads. And I also was able to find this pattern on Amazon. So if you wanted to do this exact pattern, you can probably find it. But if you're interested in supporting small businesses or smaller artists, I recommend looking at Etsy or some of the other websites. I will link some of the favorite kits that I saw in the description. So I'm gonna open the kit now, and just a warning, it's gonna be really loud because the cellophane wrapper is extremely noisy. Alright, so my kit comes with quite a few different things. The first thing we have here is the little canvas. This is like a wood canvas, and it has this very, it's like loose fabric, I guess. Like, I don't know if you can see, it has a lot of little holes in it, so it should be pretty easy to punch needle through. But this already has the design drawn out on it, which is really nice and make it a lot easier to know where everything goes. Also comes with a few different color threads. I have white, red, this yellow that kind of matches my shirt. I definitely wore the shirt on purpose. And also this green. I'm assuming that the numbers on the packages will correspond to where these colors should go since the canvas doesn't have any numbering on it. It's also kind of intuitive with the picture. The star of the show is my very own punch needle. So you can see there's like little notches on the end, and I think that determines the length of your punch. So this is the needle on the first level, but then if I move it up one more, then it's sticking out further. This is the furthest out it can go, and you can see like it's pretty long. It's almost as long as my finger. So that just means that if I use it at this length, the amount of thread sticking out of the canvas would be pretty long. And then the last, probably most important piece of the package are the instructions. There's some tips on the front just for punch needling in general, and then there's some pictures on the back. It doesn't say which piece to start with, but I'm gonna start with the little centers of the flowers since that's the smallest piece and work my way out from there. So let's get started. So to thread the needle through the needle tool, I guess you're supposed to stick it through this hole at the bottom of the tool, and it's supposed to come out through the front. So I'm gonna try to do that. There isn't really any tools to help with that, so that'll be interesting. The kit actually did have a wire to help pull the thread through, but I somehow missed it. So I ended up using it later, but for now you can enjoy this montage of all the other methods I tried using. I'm just gonna start at the lowest needle height because I found that to be the easiest for me getting started, and maybe later on I'll move on to higher heights, but I'll show you how I did the first little stitch. I used the flower on the left to practice, and the fabric is a little loose and harder to punch through there, so I'm gonna start with the flower in the top right. I watched a video that said when you're punch needling, you always want the open face of your needle to face the direction you're stitching in, so I'm going to come across from the right to the left. The open face of my needle is facing left. For the first stitch, punch the needle all the way through the fabric and then pull the end of the thread through the canvas like this, and then you will pull up your needle slightly and slide it over to where you want to punch it back in for your next stitch. I repeated this process very slowly at first to make sure that none of the threads got pulled up as I was going across. So this was my first row of stitches, and I'll just keep filling this in. Okay, now that I've done my last punch, I'll leave the needle in the fabric, flip over the canvas, and cut the thread before pulling the needle back out. So that was my first successful attempt. It's not the cleanest, but I think it turned out okay, and I'll finish up the rest of these flower centers. Okay, I have done 3 of the flower centers by now, and I think you can already see I'm getting a little bit better, especially this last one. Like, it actually is the right shape and everything. So I'm gonna keep finishing the rest of these, and then I think I'm gonna do the flower petals next and kind of like work my way down the flower before we fill in the whole background. I think it's going pretty well so far. It was initially a little bit frustrating, but now I think I got the hang of it. I finished my first flower and it looks like a sheep. So this is the picture of what it's supposed to look like, and this is what it actually looks like. So I feel like that makes it more obvious. Like, I don't know if the loops are too big or if I did too many. The punching for the petals is supposed to be like really, really small, and I just feel like for mine, I'm not able to get it like that. So I'll do the rest of the flowers and then I'll come back tomorrow to finish the background and the stems. Welcome back. It's day 2 of our punch doodling project, and this is the progress that I've made so far. I ended up figuring out kind of what I was doing wrong and why I was looking so fluffy. I think I was using too much thread. Basically, every time I punched the needle in, I was trying to punch it in the next hole, like directly next to it, but I think you're supposed to sort of drag the needle across the line a little bit to create bigger stitches. As you can see here, my flowers are a little bit better defined. You can kind of see every individual petal now. One thing that was a little bit sad about this kit in particular is that there wasn't really enough white thread, especially because I guess I was using too much. I ended up having to go back and redo some of the flowers just so that I would have enough thread to finish the project. Thankfully you can't really see it, but there's a few gaps where I feel like you might be able to see the canvas, but since the flowers are white, it's harder to see, so that works great. I already started working on some of the leaves and I'm gonna finish those up, and then I'm gonna start working on the background. I'm not exactly sure for the background how that's gonna go. I don't know if it's all supposed to be straight lines or if it's gonna go around and around in a loop, so hopefully there's enough thread for everything. Anyway, this is how it's looking so far. I think it looks pretty good, actually a lot better than it did yesterday. So yeah, I'm over that now and I'm ready to finish this project. I finished up the leaves and now I'm getting ready to finish the project, but I wanted to show you what the material ratio is like. So for the little tops of the flowers in red, I have about this much yarn left, which is, I feel like, a good amount. Like, I could probably do a few more flowers with this. For the white flower petals, this is what I have left, which is basically nothing. And I find that kind of surprising because the flower petals are kind of like the main part of the piece. You'd think there'd be some extra left over. For the leaves, I have about this much yarn left over, which I would say is still a lot of yarn. The kit comes with 2 bundles of yellow yarn for the back, but they're smaller than the bundle that was for the white. There's kind of a lot of extra for things that I feel like I didn't need extra for, but I guess the only reason I feel that way is because there was an extra for the stuff that I wasn't able to finish, aka the flower petals. Alright you guys, this is our final result. I think it turned out pretty well for my first time ever doing punch needling. Learning to use the needle is a bit of a learning curve, but once I got the hang of it, I feel like the rest of the project moved a lot faster. And as long as you have enough yarn, this can be a pretty low stress project as well. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions or tips for punch needling, let me know in the comments because I have 2 more of these kits that I can still work on later. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there are any other crafts or hobbies you'd like to see me try, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!